1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 1 Point, a conversation about faith, hope, and love. This is Arnold, and I'd like to welcome every one of you who are joining me tonight. Marami pong salamat sa pagsama nyo sa akin ngayon, at alam ko naman na special kayo sa akin dahil kayo ang sumasama sa akin ng very few of you who responded to my request to join me today. Ang 1 Point is a conversation about faith, hope, and love, as I mentioned a while ago. My goal for this stream is for all of us to experience faith. Some of us, we are still struggling with our faith, meaning we are even probably trying to look for and discovering or even rediscovering our faith. And so, if that is you today, my hope in this stream is for us to be able to rediscover our faith. Aalamin natin kung sino yung ating pinapaniwalaan, what our faith is all about, how can our faith help us in our daily walk. That is my goal for this channel and for this stream. And I'd like to also provide hope, because nowadays hope is something that is scarce within the social media realm. Sa Facebook, sa YouTube, and even on Instagram, a lot of people, every time that they speak, every time that they post something, it's always on the negative. It's always something that is stressful. But my hope is that we'll be able to have some kind of hope within this the period of time that we'll be together for about an hour. And of course, I'd like also to provide this opportunity for us to discover the love of God. The love of God is something that is available to us, but it's something also that is scarce for most of us because we are not able to understand the kind of love that God has for us. And so, my hope is that all of us will discover the love of God together. Yan ang gagawin natin dito sa 1 Point Saturdays. And welcome everyone. Welcome sa lahat ng mga kasama ko ngayon dito sa ating channel. If this is your first time in this channel, I'd like to request a couple of things muna before I mention some of you that are now chatting with me on Facebook and YouTube. I'd like to request two things from you. Number one, if you are on Facebook and if you can transfer to YouTube, no, please do that. Kung pwede lang naman, kung kaya naman na you can click on that link that I provided dun sa ating YouTube stream. If you can move over to YouTube, I'd like to request you to do that. Kasi the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to build the community on YouTube, no? And I might not be streaming again on Facebook next week. I might consider just focusing on Facebook para isa lang talagang inaalagaan ko na social media channel kasi ang hirap pagkadalawa. But nonetheless, if you can't do that right now, it's okay. Just share the stream, share the stream on Facebook. Share lang natin so that some of your friends on Facebook can also enjoy and hopefully be blessed by our time together today. Now, if you are on YouTube now, I'd like for you to click on that like button, and if you are not subscribed yet, click subscribe and notification bell doon sa Facebook buttons. Kasi this is how Facebook works. Before everyone else sees this kind of videos that I'm producing for all of you, the only way for YouTube to know that this content is something that's shareable is through the likes and the comments and that I'm receiving through the channel. And so if you can, sandali lang naman yan, click that like button, and then we can move forward with our stream today. All right. So, I'd like you to request you if you can type in and say hi dito sa comment box, and I'd like to give a shout out throughout the whole experience tonight, the whole live stream tonight. I'll be asking some questions if you want to participate in. I'll show your name. I'll mention your name throughout the whole stream tonight. All right, let me just mention some. Of course, my dude, my guy, Carlos is with us tonight. Thank you, Carlos, for joining me tonight. Mga kamag-anak to, tsaka mga friends, syempre. Sino pa bang di magtutulong-tulungan kundi tayo-tayo lang? Thank you for joining me tonight, si Carlos. And of course, Princess Manuel, thank you for joining me tonight. Si Auntie Ebong, Esther Luayon is also with me, with us tonight on Facebook. Thank you for joining. And si Melvin, my brother from that is right now nasa probinsya sila ngayon, and his wife Kath is also joining us today. All right, si of course sino pa ba? Gucci Jeng TV. Gerald. Si Gerald ba yun? Gerald. Oh, salamat sa mga tulong ng tsaka sa audience ko. Ang aking family is always with me. Si Chad is also with us today, and Auntie Ebong moved into the the YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me. And syempre, hindi pa pahuli ang aking lovely wife, si Joy, is here with us also today. Sige, magano lang kayo ha. Yan siya. Si Joy, Auntie Ebong, si Chad is also here with us, si Gerald, Kat, Coach Mev, Princess Manuel is here with us. Jolina is also here with us. Thank you for joining. And Carlos, my man, is here with us also today. All right. So, thank you guys. Just keep showing your love through the chat. Share the videos and hit that like button para malaman naman ng Facebook, ng YouTube na pwedeng lumabas sa algorithm nila yung ating feed. All right. So, thank you guys for joining me today.
1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
Uy, bago tayo mag-start, si Ate Tess pala, nandito rin. Ate Tess, hello. Meron tayong yan. Yung ating bagong sound effect na yun. Ayos ba? Sabi ko, I'm going to improve the stream today. So, we're improving. Sabi ko kay Melvin, I'm going to improve, don't worry. Palakpakan natin si Melvin for improving, for sharing this idea. Alright, so, thank you for joining me tonight. We're going to have several topics to cover. And I hope that we will have a fun night and inspiring night tonight. We're going to understand first and foremost how to have peace of mind with all the things that's happening in the world today. How can we have peace of mind? And then number 2, we're going to also understand how to manage that tension between trust with God, trusting God with everything that we have versus doing something for ourselves. Paano ba natin i-solve yung tension na yun? We're going to also try to understand what I call toxic positivity. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng toxic positivity? So, we're going to have that today. Okay, so, before we continue, thank you for joining me again. Si G Floor, I don't know kung sino si G Floor, but hi for joining me, of course. Uy, yung aking tatay ay kasama natin ngayon. O syempre, yung aking mami din na nandito. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right.
1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
Okay. Before we proceed on with the more serious stuff, I'd like to share with you some, hopefully, laughter. I don't know if this is, I find this very, I'd say, funny. I hope that you also find this funny. But I'll try to share some memes that I find funny during the entire week. And yun yung tinatry ko na i-save sa computer ko pag may nakikita ako mga funny memes. And this meme was shared with us sa Facebook ng one of my friends at church. si let's see. Okay. Alright, so sa ating, there you go. Ito, sabi niya, si Roddy is one of our friends and part of Live City Church. Sabi ni Roddy, IATF has allowed senior citizens to go anywhere they like during the GCQ kasi hindi po pwedeng lumabas sa mga senior citizens. Yung mga parents ko ngayon nanonood, hindi kayo pwedeng lumabas. Pero meron daw, pwede daw pala as long as they're accompanied by their parents. Napaisip ako bigla, pero sa totoo lang, baka meron din talagang senior citizen na buhay pa ang kanilang mga parents. But nonetheless, I hope that you guys, especially the senior citizens out there, be careful. Sabi ko sa mga parents ko when I called this morning but yesterday, I asked them to really be careful because of the surge that is happening here in Metro Manila. COVID-19 count, it's going up nowadays. We're going to go a lot deeper about later on dito sa topic na yan mamaya. All right?
1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
Can you have peace of mind even if a lot of things are happening in the world right now? Can you still have peace in your heart and in your mind even if the COVID-19 situation is going out of hand? Can you still have peace of mind if you think and you feel that you don't have control about things that are happening in our world today? Yesterday, and in fact, this whole week, napansin nyo ba, lalo na for those of you who are here in Metro Manila, ang daming COVID-19. Is this the second wave? Maybe this is the second wave. But yesterday, I posted a joke. It's really not a joke in the sense dahil it's something that is heartbreaking. Yesterday, there was 7,113 cases of COVID-19. Sabi ko 7,103 islands in the Philippines. Today, the latest report is that we have 7,999, the highest so far. Hindi pa kinumpleto na hindi pa ginawang 8,000. 7,999. That is the current count that we have today. And a lot of us, in fact, majority of us, especially for those of you who are living here in Metro Manila, staying here in Metro Manila, we are afraid. We have fear in our hearts. We don't have peace of mind. We're thinking, will I be the next one to get COVID-19? In fact, my wife just this afternoon, sabi niya sa akin, pagka ba tayo hindi nagkaroon ng COVID-19 throughout the season, magpapatato ka ba? I know it's a joke, but it's something that is representative of what we feel. Something that all of us have been feeling nowadays. And that's understandable. We all want to have peace of mind, but with everything that's happening in the world today, especially with the pandemic, it's really hard to have peace of mind. We still want to have it, we search for it, but it's elusive because it's something that we don't have and we can't have. In fact, if you are going to make a quick search, if you're going to have a quick search sa sa Google, you search sa Google, sabi dito, how can I have peace of mind? Search mo lang, how can I have peace of mind? Ang dami niya na makikita mo eh. How can I have peace of mind? 5 simple ways to increase your peace of mind, 40 ways to create peace in your mind. Ang dami. Ano ba, testing tayo. Sabi dito, 40 ways to find peace of mind and inner calm. Sabi dito, listen to music, deep breathing, go for a walk, enjoy nature, play with a pet, declutter, acceptance, mindfulness, self-love, be true to you. Ang dami, no? Ang daming mga sinasuggest na mga paraan para magkaroon ng peace of mind. But you know what? The reality is that all our efforts to have peace of mind is an effort that will come from within. Sa sarili natin, tinitingnan natin sa sarili natin, pinanggagalingan ng ating peace of mind, iniisip natin, kumukuha tayo ng lakas sa sarili lang natin. We try to look for peace through the power within. No? Kaya we want to have control over everything. We want to just listen to music. We want to have inner peace. We want to control our emotions, because all these things are just coming from within. But let me tell you this. The reality is that we cannot really have peace of mind if we are just going to look for peace just within ourselves. Imposible yun. We cannot produce peace for ourselves. Sabi nila, peace daw is a choice. I doubt it. Because if there's something that's going around you, if there's turmoil within yourself, you cannot say that it's going to be a choice. It's not something that you can control within you. It's not something that you can reproduce. Peace of mind is not something that you can produce for yourself. My suggestion is for us to look for peace that is coming from without, from outside of ourselves. Let's look for peace that is outside of ourselves. Kasi alam nyo, it's okay. It's okay to look for peace. It's okay to feel anxious. Kasi totoo naman ang nangyayari sa atin yan. Ang nangyayari sa atin, minsan, we're looking for peace. Lalo na sa mga Christians, sinasabi natin, no, I'm okay. Hindi ako natataranta. I have peace of mind. But in reality, hindi naman. Nakakaproblema talaga sila sa kanilang peace of mind. You see, it's okay. It's okay to feel anxious. Okay lang na matakot. Okay lang na kabahan. Kasi reality naman talaga yan eh. Nangyayari yan talaga sa buhay natin. Pag hindi natin tinanggap yung reality na natatakot ka, hindi mo magagawa ng paraan. Hindi ka hanap ng peace na magagaling lamang sa ibang bagay or outside of yourself. Ang reality nito is that Jesus himself, and I'm going to try to walk you through where we can get this peace that is coming from the outside. Jesus predicted that really we are going to have troubles in this world. We are going to have troubles in this world. Sabi ni Jesus sa John chapter 16 verse 33, and I hope you can see this sa madang baba. Sabi dito, in this world, sa second sentence, sabi ni Jesus, in this world, you will have trouble. Sabi niya, in this world, you will have trouble. Pinredict na ni Jesus na while we are still living here on earth, we are going to still find troubles in our lives. We are going to be persecuted. Some of us, and some of my friends, they have contracted COVID-19. Some of my friends, they have relatives that had COVID-19. They're suffering. And some of them, in fact, died. Unfortunately, with all sadness, we heard of some of those news that some of my friends' parents and relatives died because of COVID-19. Because Jesus himself said that in this world, we are going to have troubles. Magkakaroon talaga tayo ng mga problema dito sa mundo. Pero basahin natin yung umpisa na sinabi ni Jesus. Sabi niya, I have told you all these things so that in me, sa kanya lamang, you may have peace. In me, you may have peace. Sabi niya, but take heart. You may have troubles in this world, but take heart. I have overcome the world. I have overcome the world. You see, you cannot reproduce peace in your mind, in your heart. Hindi natin kayang gawin yun sa sarili lamang natin. It's only Jesus who can provide peace for us. Yun yung peace na magagaling hindi sa atin, kundi magagaling from outside of us. And that is going to be from Jesus Himself. Now, the question that we can ask is how? How can we have peace of mind? Yung bang peace na, alam mo, even if something's going on around you, even if COVID-19 is raging around us, even if 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, we don't want that to happen, but we can't have control over these things. What can we do so that we can have that peace that only Jesus can provide for all of us? Because reality check. Let me give you a reality check. The reality is that we don't have control over everything. In fact, anything in this world, we don't have control over. We don't control the government. We can't control the government and their responses. I know for some of you, you are frustrated with what's going on, with how the government is handling the pandemic. Some of you are frustrated with some people who are not obeying the protocols. Some of you are confused about what's going to happen next if these things go uncontrolled. The reality is we can't control anything. We don't have control over anything. It's only God through Jesus who has control over everything. So, if we want to have peace of mind, we can go to Jesus alone.
1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
How can you have peace of mind? What can you do to have that peace that is coming only from Jesus that He offers? Sabi ni Jesus, you will have troubles in this world, but I have conquered the world. I have overcome the world. So we can trust in Jesus. So how can we have that? How can we have this peace? Paul suggested several things. And I'd like to read these verses and then hopefully we can learn from these verses on how we can have peace of mind. Sabi ni Paul sa Philippians chapter 4 verses 6 to 8, and this is one of the most important verses that we can read over and over again, especially during the times that we are troubled, if we have some problems in life, if we are afraid, if we are anxious. Let's read these verses over and over again. All right? So, let's read this verse. Sabi dito, do not be anxious about anything. Let's not be anxious about anything. COVID-19, don't worry about it. Don't worry about these things. If you have some financial problems, if you have some relational problems, if you have some problems with your career, sabi ni Paul, do not be anxious about anything. But, sabi ni Paul, in every situation, sa lahat ng sitwasyon, sabi ni Paul, what are you going to do? By prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. So, if you are experiencing troubles in life, if you are experiencing fear with all the things that's happening in the world today, kung nararamdaman natin yan, sabi ni Paul, with thanksgiving, with prayer, in every situation by prayer and petition, and thanksgiving, we thank God for everything that He has done. Let's present our request to God in prayer. Let's talk to God. And what will happen if we do that? If we tell God about our anxieties, our worries in life, Lord, this is happening in my life right now. I don't like what's happening. I don't like this fear that's going on in my life. I don't like the trajectory of my career. I don't like this, what's happening in my relationship. But Lord, I'd like you to know that this is what's going on in my life right now. If you do that, if you pray, if you ask God, you present your petition to Him in prayer. Sabi ni Paul, and the peace of God. Ganun pala yun. If you pray, the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, hindi natin to maiintindihan. Suddenly, when you pray, the peace of God that transcends all understanding, something that we cannot understand, the peace that is only going to come from God, from outside of God, outside of us, sabi ni Paul, will guard our hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. That's how you can receive peace from outside of ourselves. Let's pray and trust that God is the one that has control over everything. We don't have control of anything. Hindi natin kayang kontrolin yung mga bagay-bagay na yan. Kung ano nangyayari sa buhay natin, hindi natin kayang kontrolin yan. Only God Himself has control over everything. And ang theological term dito is sovereignty of God. The sovereignty of God. God is sovereign over everything. God knows everything. God knows the future. God has a plan. And in as much as we want to have control over over all these things, kung gusto man natin, kung ano man yung gusto nating gawin sa buhay natin, alam natin gusto nating gawin to mga bagay-bagay na to, kontrolin yung mga bagay-bagay na yan, pero hindi natin makontrol. Trust God because He is sovereign. Trust Him because He alone can give us the peace that only God, only He can understand, that we can't understand. Alam mo, ang sarap nung pag matutulog ka, you know that God is in control. That you may not have control over the COVID-19 situation, you don't have control over your life, but God has control. You can rest in your bed with understanding that Jesus has control over everything in your life. Ikaw, anong kinatatakutan mo ngayon? Anong kinakatakutan mo sa pang-araw-araw na buhay mo? Maybe you can type in our chat right now. Let's talk about it, and let's try to chat about what's how God can provide peace for you today.
1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
Yeah, so si Ate Sherry Lagmay is watching us today. Ate Ruth Balahadja, thank you for joining me today. Mahirap yung natin sitwasyon natin. I know nakakatakot tong nangyayari sa buhay-buhay natin sa mga panahon ngayon, pero with the help of God, with us trusting that only God can provide for all of us, this is something that all of us together as a community can overcome. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. Mag-ano lang kayo ha, comment lang kayo. Let me know your thoughts so that we can all I can read some of your messages dito sa natin sa live stream natin. All right?
1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
How can you solve this tension? Some of you may say that, yeah, I trust God. I trust God with my life, with everything that I have. And so, I don't care what happens in my life from here on. COVID-19, wala akong pakialam dyan. I trust God that He will care for me. On the other hand, some people will say, you should care for yourself. You should care for yourself. You should do the necessary thing. Anong sinasabi niyo? Trust God, trust God. You care for yourself and do what you can so that you can protect yourself. You see, ito yung tension na sinasabi kong hindi natin kailangang i-resolve. It doesn't have to be either or. It doesn't have to be trusting God, no, on one hand, and it also doesn't have to be protecting yourself on the other hand. No, hindi naman yan either or. Hindi ka naman kailangan mamili. One of my favorite preachers, si Craig Groeschel, sabi niya, do whatever you can. Ulitin ko. Do whatever you can do, and let God do what only He can do. Do whatever you can do and let God do only what He can do. Halimbawa, let's do our best to protect ourselves, no? Let's protect ourselves from COVID-19. Pag sinabi na wag masyadong makipaghalubilo sa mga maraming tao, pag sinabing mag-face mask. Pag sinabing stay at home, for some of us, we need to really stay at home. Mga seniors, you have to stay at home. And let's do that. Let's try to protect ourselves. On the other hand, let's trust that there are things that we really cannot control. You know what? There are people that even how much they protect themselves, they still catch the virus. Ganun talaga. Kahit na gaano ka-protect ang gagawin mo sa sarili mo, there are things that we cannot really control. And so, dun sa mga bagay-bagay na things that we cannot control, let's trust God to do what only He can do. Let's trust Him that He has plans for us, that He has better He has better ways. He has the best interest, our best interest in mind. Let's trust God. So let's protect ourselves. Let's do our best to protect ourselves. Hindi lang ito from protecting ourselves sa COVID-19, ha? It can be doing our best to look for our job or to do our best in protecting our relationships. No, let's do our best to do all these things, and yet at the same time, let's trust God to provide the best things for us, to do what only He can do, to do what we cannot do. Only God can protect us, only God can provide the best for us, and so let's trust God. Walang kailangang i-resolve doon sa bagay na yon. It's a tension that we don't resolve. It's a tension that we only manage. No, i-manage lang natin. Halimbawa, paano natin i-manage yan? For instance, if you are feeling anxious, katulad ng binanggit ko kanina, if you are protecting yourself and you still feel anxious, you think, maybe I trust God less. Maybe I need to start trusting God more. Diba? Now, dito naman sa kabila, baka naman you are saying you're trusting God more and then you are protecting yourself less. Lumalabas ka na, walang face mask, palagi kang pupunta sa mga lugar na maraming mga tao na hindi mo naman kailangan pumunta. Maybe, yeah, you're trusting God more, but maybe God is also telling you, hey, I have given you the freedom to choose. I've given you the freedom to think. I've given you the gift of planning for yourself. Make use of that so that you can I can work hand in hand with you. So we don't need to resolve that tension. Let's just make sure that we manage that tension. Let's trust God with all of our hearts because He alone can protect us, can do the best for us, and then at the same time, let's do our best to protect ourselves. Let's do our best to do the best things that we can do for ourselves and for our family. That's how you manage this tension.
1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
Sino ba dyan sa inyo ang natatakot? Ha? Taas nga kamay sa chat natin. Sino sa inyo ang ayaw na talagang lumabas dahil takot na? Ayaw na talagang lumabas dahil hindi na nasisira na yung buhay nila dahil tingin nila talagang pag lumabas sila mamamatay na sila agad dahil sa virus. Sino ba sa atin dito sa mga nanonood sa atin na ganun ang pakiramdam? Ganun ba ang nasa isip nyo? Sino naman sa kabila na sa inyo na we have this trust in God. We're saying 100% I trust God. Kaya wala na, hindi mo na pinoprotektahan yung sarili mo. Parang baliwala na ang nangyayari sa labas. You just do whatever you want to do. Sino ba sa atin ang ganun? Sana hindi wala. Sana i-manage natin yung na yon, yung tension na yon, ha, para maging maganda yung ating kakalabasan ng ating buhay the next few weeks or months, or I don't know, sana hindi to abutin ng years, pero ganun talaga eh. Alright, so magbati tayo dito sa ating mga sa ating chat. Si G Floor, thank you for si Grace, yeah, thank you for joining me today. Si Allen, yeah, thank you for joining me today also. Sino pa ba ang nag-login? Oh, si is this Candy, my sister? So my whole family is watching me right now from Nueva Ecija. Thank you for joining me today.
1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
Let's talk about toxic positivity. And I know this is something that is a little controversial. Magiging controversial tayo ng konti, ha. I'm going to explain in a little while. Meron tayong tinatawag na toxic positivity. Merong hope, positivity. We want to be hopeful. We want to be positive in life. And there's such a thing as toxic positivity. And I'm going to explain this because I'm a little passionate about this, because I want all of us to learn out of this. Itong toxic positivity, halos lahat tayo, kahit ako minsan nangyayari din sa akin to. So part of the things that I want to do dito sa channel nito is to learn together, hindi lang from what the word of God says, but also from the practical side of things, no? So let's talk about toxic positivity. Ano ba yung toxic positivity? Alam niyo yung when there's something in life that you know that's bothering you, or something in life that your family, your friends, they are suffering, and then you will just try to dismiss the suffering that's happening around you. Halimbawa, sinasabi natin, nawalan ng trabaho, halimbawa, yung kaibigan natin, nawalan siya ng trabaho. Sasabihin mo sa kanya, okay lang yan, pre. Okay lang yan. That's toxic positivity. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi, nawalan na nga ng trabaho yung kaibigan mo, sasabihin mo pa, okay lang yan. Hindi yan okay. Hindi yan okay. Hindi yan okay. Halimbawa, I have some friends that their parents right now are suffering. Some of them are experiencing dementia. Yung iba, they have some heart problems. They are bedridden, and then they would come to me and they would say, Arnold, this is what's happening with my parents right now. What would I say? Will I say, okay lang yan, gagaling din sila. Okay lang yan, gagaling din sila. Paano pag hindi gumaling? Paano pagka hindi gumaling? So, toxic positivity, madalas na nangyayari ito sa atin. Instead of being with your friend and suffering with them, we try to encourage them by being positive, but by doing so, we're doing harm than good. Instead of encouraging them, we sometimes belittle or diminish their suffering. Madalas nangyayari to, isang example nito, pagka mayroong sakuna na nangyayari dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Pag may sakuna, may bagyo, may lindol na maraming nangyayaring maraming namatay, maraming nasugatan, maraming nawalan ng bahay. Palagi natin sasabihin, sa Facebook, makikita mo to madalas, ang dami natin makikita ng ganito. Sinasabi natin, kayang-kaya ng mga Pilipino yan. We are a resilient people. We are a resilient nation. Which is, in fact, true. With our experience, no, for the past 4 decades of my life, I've seen this happen. We are a resilient people. But the problem is that by just thinking that everything, because the Filipino people is resilient, ang nangyayari sa atin, hindi na tayo tinatry nating i-improve ang mga bagay-bagay na nangyayari sa paligid natin. Pag sinabi natin na resilient naman ang mga Pilipino so wag na lang nating ayusin yung ating mga daan. Wag na lang nating ayusin yung ating drainage system. Kaya tayo binabaha, wag na lang natin ayusin drainage system natin. Resilient naman mga Pilipino 'Di ba? Or wag na lang natin ayusin yung bahay natin kasi resilient naman mga Pilipino Kayang-kaya naman natin yung ayusin. Kaya-kaya naman nating panagumpayan yung mga pagsubok na yan. So, toxic positivity. Alright? Last example, and then I'm going to try to wrap this up and try to share with you what we should do pag merong mga sakuna, pag merong mga problema na kinaharap tayo at yung mga kaibigan natin. And I don't want to, and this is not a political blog. I don't want to be political, no? And this is not something that bashes our president, President Rodrigo Duterte. Pero ito ay naging trending this week. And I'd like to show this because this is a mirror of us, ako din, no? Ganito din kasi tayo mag-isip, no? Ito yung kasi sa isang speech ni President Duterte, sabi niya, do not despair. No? Kaya natin to, itong COVID na to, maliit na bagay lang to sa buhay natin, maliit lang daw to na bagay. Marami tayong dinaanan na mas grabe, mas mahirap, sabi ni President Duterte. Which is true, no? Totoo naman 'yon na marami tayong pinagdaanan na mas mahirap, na kaya natin to, maliit na bagay lamang daw ito. I understand the heart of the president. He wants to encourage us. And the reason why I show that is because it is reflective of how we deal with things, no? Tayo dito, sa akin din, minsan ganun ang pananaw ko sa buhay. Palagi sinasabi natin, maliit na bagay lang to. Maliit na bagay lang to, kaya natin to, no? Hindi natin kailangang encourage yung mga tao sa mga ganitong bagay kasi maliit lamang tong bagay nito Pero ang totoo nito, hindi yun maliit na bagay. Ang nangyayari sa buhay natin ngayon, Covid-19, 7,999, it's not small. People dying, it's not small. So some people feel offended by that. And I again, as I said, I understand where the president is coming from, but some people who had some relatives that has died were feeling offended by that. Some who lost their jobs and they feel like this is not something that's small, malaking bagay to para sa kanila. They feel offended by that. Now, anong dapat ang tamang bagay? Ano ba talaga dapat ang gagawin natin when there's something that is bothering us, when we have a friend that is suffering? Ano ba ang dapat nating gawin? What we need to do is to join them in suffering. We empathize with them. Even we sympathize with them. We sympathize with them, and then let's provide hope. Let's try to uplift them with the word of God, with the understanding that God is in control of everything. Say for instance, no, you have a friend that lost his job. You don't say, okay lang yan, kayang-kaya mo yan. You can say, I understand what you're going through. tutulungan kita na makahanap ng trabaho. Or God has the best in mind para sa'yo. Pag may namatay ka na kaibigan, nakamatayan na kaibigan mo, namatay ang kanyang parents dahil sa COVID-19, don't say, okay lang yan. Makakaraos din tayo. You say, I am here for you, I am with you, I am suffering with you. And then you say, with God's help, we can overcome all of these things. Right? Ganun yun. Let's suffer with them. Kasi kung hindi natin tayo makikiramay sa kanila, sa pinagdadaanan nila, hindi tayo makakatulong sa mga bagay-bagay na dapat nilang pagdaanan o dapat nilang panagumpayan. Let's suffer and sympathize with our friends, with our relatives who are undergoing through some problems in life. Because what we are all having nowadays, itong mga pinagdadaanan natin sa mundo, dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, is not small. This is a big deal. And we can only go through this if all of us will suffer together and do things together. Let's all be mindful of what we say. Let's all be mindful of how we relate with others who are suffering. And at the same time, let's do our best to encourage them with the love of God in our midst.
1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
Sabi nung kapatid ko, si Candy, siya daw yun ito ba yung ayaw nang lumabas dahil natatakot na? Nasa Vienna, Austria yung kapatid ko nito si Candy, and I don't know. Ganyan baka, hindi naman yata delikado diyan sa Austria ngayon, di ba? But of course, I understand that in the past months din, ang dami din na naging problema diyan sa COVID-19 sa Vienna, Austria. The way all of us are experiencing here in Metro Manila or here in the Philippines as a whole. So let's see if we have some comments that we can read. Alright. Sige. Okay, so let's there are some friends of mine that has contracted COVID-19. Yung parents ng ano bang tawag doon? May sisters, parents-in-law, parang ganon. Meron silang COVID-19 na sabi ng aking nanay. Pag-pray din natin. Yeah, let's pray for those of us who are who have some for those of us who are experiencing problems in life, let's pray for them. All right? Sabi ni Candy Kane, hindi pala siya yung aking, kasi pangalan ng aking kapatid ay Candy. Sorry about that. But whoever you are, thank you for joining and thank you for visiting and commenting dito sa ating chat sa stream natin ngayon. All right, so we are going to about to end our live stream today, and I think I was able to all in all combine a lot of materials for the week that I can also share with others. If you have some topics that you want me to talk about in the future, you can also type it in our comment section, or you can PM me. Let's all do that. Next week again, I'm trying to make this as regular as possible. Again, if you are chatting from or viewing this from the Facebook stream, maybe you can move to the YouTube stream and like the feed, click that like button and subscribe kasi maybe by next week I might not be streaming on Facebook again. I might focus on YouTube because this is the community that I'd really like to develop and it might be, this might be something that that is also beneficial to those who are on Facebook. Although wala pa naman talagang community ako na nabubuo sa Facebook. Unlike of course dito sa YouTube, unlike dito sa Facebook that I have some friends that are watching this. But anyway, thank you for joining me on Facebook. But next week dun na tayo sa Facebook again. Sa YouTube na tayo ulit magkita-kita. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that this time that we all had today, it was a blessing, and I hope that we can overcome these challenges that all of us are experiencing nowadays, particularly for those of us who are here in Metro Manila. I hope that all of us will be able to experience hope, and then our faith will grow out of the things that are happening in our life today, and at the same time, through the suffering that all of us are experiencing nowadays, we are going to experience the love of God. And my prayer is that as a community, as believers, for those of you who are followers of Jesus, my hope is that all of us will continue to have faith in God with everything that only He can do, because He is sovereign. He is the one that can provide for all of our needs. He is the one who has the greatest He is the knowledge of the future, the knowledge of the best thing that can happen for all of us. So let's trust God. Let's trust that He alone can do the best things for all of us, while we can still do what we're doing today. Thank you guys for joining me today, and thank you for sharing this stream to others. Invite your friends. Let's all meet again next week at 7 o'clock here at One Point with Arnold Gamboa.
1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point with Arnold Gamboa.
Hey, you made it through the end of the live stream. Thank you for joining me tonight. My hope is that our session this evening has become a blessing to you. And I normally do live streams every Saturday at 7 o'clock in the evening. So I'd like to invite you again for another live stream next week, Saturday at 7 o'clock. Invite your friends, share the link, and see you again next week. Till then,